Alright, back with the channel, and the next item up, wow, this is something I've been wanting to do for a very, did I mention very? Long time. Edelbrock cylinder heads. Awesome. Finally. I've been saving my money for quite some time, and when Black Friday and Cyber Monday happened, I was able to execute on a lot of things that I've been waiting on, again, for a very long time, and this happens to be one of them. Alright, so what we have here is we have Edelbrock 5027 small block forward cylinder head, E-205 with a 2.08 intake valve. One complete set in this entire box. Let's take a quick look at it here. According to the box, we say manganese bronze valve guides and helicoil threaded inserts. So that's awesome. And then, of course, they're just going to, now this is marketing here. Available bearer complete, blah. Port chamber designs improved for performance, blah, blah, blah. This is cool right here. You can scan for your gasket set. In other words, they're going to try to sell you their gasket set, which is perfectly fine. That's kind of neat that they do that. What else we got here? Oh, now, those of you that have followed me, you know that I'm a big stickler on this. Made in the USA. Designed, cast, and assembled at our facilities in Southern California. Unfortunately, I'm still going to complain, because that's what I do, right? That's what we all do, actually. But, yeah, California, really? But, let's give Edelbrock some credit here. They are in a commie state with shitty-ass taxes and all that kind of stuff, and they're still manufacturing. So, kudos to them for that, okay? Kudos. And Edelbrock did move, I believe, to Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. But it's kind of hard to take your foundry with you. So I completely and totally 150,000% understand why they did not take it with them, because that is a hard thing to do. However, do not be surprised that if you see Edelbrock in the next 5 to 10 years moving everything out of the California state, and that would make me extremely happy, because California needs to die. It needs to self-destruct. It's well on its way, but it needs to continue to self-destruct to a point where even the elite and the idiots out there running the show, I'm getting political, yes, and if you don't like it, fuck y'all. They need to get to the point where, they just burn themselves to the ground, and, we go in and rebuild and actually make it good again. Because right now, it's pathetic. It really is. But hey, I don't live there, so guess what? I ain't got to put up with it. But when y'all moving in here and you start bringing your ideals with you, trust me, I will push back. And if need be, I'll push back real hard. So, let's get on to the Edelbrock cylinder head, shall we? 5027, again, is the part number. So these, again, a full set inside here, fully assembled. These are supposed to be for, if I'm not mistaken, the hydraulic roller grind. So in other words, the springs should be able to handle a hydraulic roller cam. Not a solid roller cam, although in a certain, smaller lift you probably could. But then again, if you went with solid roller, why would you go with smaller lift? But anyway, what I'm saying, this will easily cover hydraulic flat tappets. But then again, why put all that extra spring tension and whatnot to handle something that you could buy an actual kit? And I know that the 5025, the 5026, and then this one, the 5027 and the 5028, all are basically the same head, just different springs valve spring pressures for whatever cam you plan to use and whatever lift you plan to use. So that is what you need to understand about this. So now that we've got that, I'm going to be taking this camera, by the way, and setting it down, and pausing it and going throughout this whole process. I'm going to try to show you what it looks like, take the head out, maybe even disassemble it a bit, that kind of thing. Okay, so pausing right now. All right, we're back. By the way, just so you know, I've been lugging around cast iron heads for a long time. Those happen to be World heads, Victor Senior or Windsor Senior heads. Actually, I had them, and I got rid of those. Actually, I just assembled them here the other day, and they're going to be going to a 351 Windsor that is supercharged. Kind of cool. I traded the guy some stuff for him. So, but I've been doing cast iron heads for a long time. I've done aluminum heads for others, for other people, for clients, for friends, etc. I've never really had my own set of aluminum heads, and this is my first set. So, again, I've dealt with Trick Flow, Canfield, eBay knockoffs, Flowtech. What else? There's quite a few of them, but I went with Edelbrock, again, made in the USA, even though it's in California, like I said. But hey, kudos to you for being USA made. I'm going to do my best to support that. And this is what it looks like when you first open the box there. So you can see, well packaged. And I'll go ahead and pause it again and lift one out, and we'll start taking a look. Alright, I got one head out. I went ahead and grabbed the paperwork out of there as well with the stickers. Here's the head itself. One real quick thing that I'll say is that this is how this thing came, by the way, in that box right there. It did not have another box over the top of that. And where did I buy them? I bought them from Jegs. Now, if you follow, you've always seen, if you've been following me, you've always seen I got the Jegs carburetor mats is what they were when I bought them, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago at this point, I think. And point being is that if you follow along, you've seen these and and so you might think that I'm a big Jegs fan, but honestly, I haven't bought anything from Jegs for a long time. The reason being is because Jegs had said that they had stuff in stock, and then you would order. And then, of course, you would get no response, no email, no shipping notification, nothing. And then you would call 2-3 weeks later, and they say, oh, well, yeah, that's because it would back order. We didn't have it in stock, etc. So basically, they lied to you, and I stopped buying from Jegs. I was buying from Summit Racing, from Speedway Motors mainly. Used parts and stuff on eBay. There's a few other places there on eBay, mom and pop stores, etc. that I buy from as well. I again was looking for the best Black Friday Cyber Monday deal, and Jegs had it. And Jegs said that they had one set of heads left. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to put it on a credit card, and if they give me problems, I can just charge back and, go find them elsewhere or whatever. But my point is that I went ahead and ordered them. And I think I went back to the Jegs website. The next day, they still had the sale going on, and it said it had one set left. So, again, I think Jegs is lying again. I think they're doing that intentionally to make you think that you better buy this before it's gone. Whatever. It's a marketing tactic. I hate lying people. I hate people that do that shit. I'm in sales. I don't do that shit. You either want my stuff or you don't. I'm here to help you as much as I can. And that's just how I operate. I don't operate on fear tactics. Unless it's legit. Like, for example, your building will blow down if you buy that piece of shit. And I've seen it. I know it'll happen at some point. And if you don't follow my advice, fine. Go get your building blown down. I don't care. Mine is not going to do that. It's got a hell of a warranty. We promise it won't, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? It's the truth. That is the only way or reason why I would, quote, use a fear tactic, okay? And I don't even think that, in my opinion, a fear tactic. But whatever. It's the truth. And that is where I bought them, Jegs. I think they were doing the marketing ploy of hurry up because this is the last set. And I went ahead and bought it. But I went looking everywhere. And I couldn't find it at this price. I think these were $1,300 for a pair, free shipping, which I think right now they're at $1,700. So I got a really good deal, and it showed up, and they never sent me a notification that it was being shipped. So again, not a huge fan of Jegs. I just went ahead and did this because, you know, look, you can buy Edelbrock no matter where you go, right? Including straight from Edelbrock, which they were the original price at Edelbrock. They said that they were having like a 20% off of their sale or whatever. But I mean, every time I went to the cart, it didn't calculate that way. So that's why I was like, well, if I can buy the same damn thing over here and it's free shipping and all that, then okay, fine. And Jegs has been around a while, and you know, again, I'm putting it on a credit card, and I can charge it back if it doesn't work out. But I usually will not buy from Jegs, but I did with this because it was the best price for the same thing I was finding everywhere. Okay? All right, awesome. So that's what I did here. Now I'll go ahead and get this set up on a stand, and we'll start taking a look and get a little bit deeper into this. Okay, we're back. Got it on the headstands that I built many years ago, and I put these shafts here into the lathe and made a taper tip and had some scrap steel basically and just made them. I just, as a matter of fact, recently, probably in the last year, finally painted those things. They were just raw metal for a long time. And I think the reason why I painted them the orange is because I had some leftover orange paint, but also, as you can tell, I have a mess in here, and to find them, I just need to look for orange. So that's why I did that. But anyway, yeah, this, again, all scrap steel. But I've had big block Ford, big block Chevy cast iron heads on here, and trust me, you do want to have it heavy duty when you're working on those kind of things. So, all right, we got it on the stand here. Speaking of weight, when I received that package like that, I mean, I'm used to cast iron heads all the time, and when I went to pick that box up, it was actually surprisingly heavy. I was like, holy crap, this is pretty heavy. Are we sure we got aluminum heads here? And come to find out, I did have aluminum heads. It's just that there's a pair of them in there, so there's some metal in here too. So just be expecting a little bit of weight, because I was a little shocked by the amount of weight that I did get when I picked them up. So here we go, taking a look. We got the Edelbrock E-205 USA, nicely engraved in the side there. Again, you can see the threaded areas. Now I don't see any Healy coils in there, or do I? Yeah, no, I don't. They said they got Healy coils in here. I'm assuming maybe, according to the box anyway. I don't see any Healy coils in the valve cover bolt holes and the exhaust bolt holes. I don't see any in there. I don't see any here on the ends. So I guess, I don't know, we're going to find out. Maybe it's right here where the screw-in studs are. Which, by the way, these are 3/8 screw-in studs. I will instantly be taking those out and upgrading to 7/16. Now, if it's a 3/8 down here in the head, that's fine. I'll buy a 3/8 thread that will go into there with a 7/16 upper. The main reason for that is because I use 7/16 sized rocker arms. So that's the biggest reason why I'm going to be doing that. Also, I mean, Yeah, I've seen some of these break before, 3/8 studs. I've never really seen a 7/16 one do it yet, but I have seen 3/8 do it. Actually, quite common, just because people like their RPMs or whatever. So that is another reason why I'm going to be doing it. Now you say, well, if it's 3/8 up here and 3/8 down here, you're still just as weak. Well, not really, because this here is all tightened down. This here is just kind of setting up here. Yeah, you've got this lock nut tightened against your rocker arm, but this is actually able to flex a little bit. I guess I could get stud girdles, but then why do I need to do that when probably 7/16 again would work just perfectly fine? So I do see a mark right here. This, I mean, I don't care, but somebody else might, because I know, again, especially in the industry that I work in, you know, high-end buildings, that kind of stuff, people, they flip over the smallest things sometimes, and that's fine, but I'm just saying that I can see how somebody might go, oh my God, there's a Sharpie mark here or whatever. Just get some brake cleaner and clean it off. But me, I'm going to leave it there, I'm going to put it on, and nobody's going to care. By the time you have headers and everything on here, you're not really going to notice it at all. Oh, by the way, what I'm using this for, this will go on my 331 fuel-injected stroker engine that's going to go in my Mustang here. So that's what this is intended for. You can just see how this nice machine surface here for the mating surface for the headers or exhaust. You know, you can see the ports are just really nice here. Now these are rough castings, I can see. I can feel a little bit of a casting right there. Is that really a big deal? Probably not, but I can tell you right now that this head will come apart completely, 100%, all the way apart. I will clean it myself, lubricate it myself, and then I will put it on. That's just me. And when I do that, I probably will get in here with a little bit of a die grinder and take these rough edges and burrs and stuff out. Plus, I'll get the gaskets that I'm going to be using, and I will try to gasket match if need be done. You're going to be using a 14mm style gasket plug, looks like, not a taper, but a gasket spark plug. So that's, you know, modern and up to date, I guess. You can see that what do we got here? We've got a outer coil spring, inner coil spring in there, and a damper. So that's 3 different pieces inside there. I can't quite see, but I mean, we've got aluminum pockets here, but it looks like we've got we should have some sort of metal shim there so it doesn't wear away the aluminum. Looks like we got regular steel retaining caps, Edelbrock branded guide plates, looking like we're ready for 5/16 push rods. Yeah, looks real good. Okay, I'm gonna flip this thing over. Okay, here we are flipped over now. I looked inside the intake bolt holes here. I do not see any Healy coils in there either. So again, the fact that it's claiming on the box Healy coils, I'm assuming it's going to be for the screw-in rocker stud, but I'll find that out here shortly after I start taking things apart. Coolant port holes here, right there. I got a little bit of rough, you know, kind of feel. I mean, they did take a die grinder, you can see a little bit to the intake ports. Let me get a light here for you. They did take a die grinder, but you can actually see there's a little bit of rough casting there standing up. Again, I will be taking that and for sure cleaning that up a little bit. Hey, there's a stud right there. A rocker stud hole right there. Maybe you can't see it in the camera, but I think I see indication of a Healy coil, I think. But again, when I take this thing all apart, I will be taking the die grinder for sure, going inside there and just getting any of that you know, stuff that's lifted. Yeah, here we go. That's a good one. There we go. Look at that. See that? You can clearly see that right there. That is, the camera won't quite focus on it. There we go. See that right there? That is something that could break off and go into your engine. Being how it's aluminum, it's really thin. Probably wouldn't do nothing, but why would you want to risk it? So definitely, I'll be taking this whole thing apart, die grinding for sure. I'm a little shocked, I guess, that this this hole for the push rod. I mean, you can really see right there the hump, and I mean, a person could die grind on that a little bit, but I'd be scared of going too far because obviously you don't want to, you know, have a hole in your intake inside of, you know, where your push rod goes through. But I guess I'm a little surprised that Edelbrock does not move that over slightly or something, you know, to to make that like, I mean, because like right now you've got it die grinded right here to the opening, and then so, you know, the opening dimension here is actually going to close up right here because of this hump, and then it's going to open back up after that. But hey, according to their statistic, these things flow 205 on the intake. So that, I mean, hey, Edelbrock they know what they're doing. So I would imagine they know what they're doing here. But I'm just a little surprised because on a small block Ford head or the world heads here, you're not going to see that. I don't know if you can, let me get the light again. I mean, you can see, I mean, that one might be a little bit, I don't know how you want to say, a little bit smaller, maybe more narrower, so maybe, but when you rub your hand in here, you do not feel this rounded portion here of the push rod hole. So I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but again, I'm going to definitely get in there and die grind a little bit. I probably won't take off much because again, I don't want to bleed through there and break into this area, and then now you got a big ass vacuum leak. So that's not good. Anyway, heart-shaped chambers here. You can see that they did a little bit of die grinding right here, just a little bit. There's kind of some sharper edges here, but again, I will probably buff that just a little bit more. These are the big 2-inch 0.08 intake valves. I think the exhaust valves are 1/6, I think. Not 100% on that, but pretty sure. But yeah, no, I'm probably gonna leave a lot of that alone. I don't think I'm gonna mess with anything like that, because you know, old David Visor, he would tell you to take this right here and kind of lay that down a little flatter, so that way when the gases come from the intake and then go back over to here, and as the piston coming back down, this flat area right here, the air's gotta flow through the exhaust valve, right? And right now, if it hits this and it comes out, it's just gonna go straight, you know, this direction before it can actually turn. So this valve is gonna have to be quite a bit a ways open in order to get it out. And he would say that you would want to flatten that and ramp it to where basically it starts flowing towards the valve from out here. Obviously, that would open up your chamber. That would, you know, make you lose compression because you're taking away material. You know, and again, something like maybe the 289 hypo heads or whatever like that. Yeah, that's what he tested it on, by the way. Yeah, maybe that's a good place to do it, but I'm going to trust that Edelbrock knows what the heck they're doing here, and just, you know, make sure there's no sharp edges, that kind of stuff, and just use it as is pretty much, other than, again, a few casting flashes that definitely need to come out for sure. Alrighty, so set it back down again here, and maybe take a few things apart and have you look. All right, we're back. One thing I'm going to tell you right now is I'm not going to give you a ton of specs, okay? Because you can literally, I mean, I suppose if I go in the instructions here, I'll probably find it. Or you can literally go online to Summit Racing Jegs, Speedway Motors, whatever. Click on the technical specifications, and it's going to tell you absolutely everything. Chamber size, valve size, degree of valve lock, all that shit, okay? I can give you a few things. For example, I believe they're 60 cc chambers. Supposedly, since it's a 205, it's supposed to be 205 cc of flow on the intake side. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I did measure the intake valve with my caliper, and I did get 2.08. And I did get 1.6 exactly with the exhaust valve. They use a very light grease style lubricant. You can kind of catch a little hint of it right there. So they are lubed. This is how it comes apart. You can see the outer spring, the damper in there. The damper is supposedly to stop vibration of the springs, etc. when you're doing high RPM, I suppose. The retainer there, it's steel. Got an inner spring as well. These are the valve locks right here. Again, I couldn't tell you if they're 10 degrees, 7 degree. I have no idea. But they look good, and they obviously work. You can see that they're using a positive type valve seal. Looks like it's a 1/2 inch, which is probably those manganese valve guides in there are probably 1/2 inch on the outside diameter. And again, like I was saying, here is those steel plates, which you can't get them off until these valve seals come off, because it's not like a big old washer. I mean, it is a washer, but it's the kind that slips right over the top of the valve guide, and then these push on, and that holds it down, so to speak, or basically to where it won't come off without taking these off. And I'm not going to remove these. When I go to, grind up on this thing and everything, I'll be vacuuming it, blowing it really well, and then I'll be using my steam cleaner to clean all this stuff, and then I'll re-lube everything. So that's how I plan on doing it. You do it your way, I do it my way, but I'm just saying that I won't be removing these to clean, because I'm going to be doing all my cleaning with my steam cleaner, vacuum, and air. And I think it'll be sufficient enough. So, now I notice they got a copper washer under there. So they got a copper shim underneath the steel one. So maybe that's like, either, I kind of wonder if that's because the copper is a little bit better to the aluminum than steel would be against. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the expert here, but kind of a cool setup there, I guess. And I'll go ahead and pause again, take this out so we can see what's underneath there and find out if these are actually, threaded with helicoils or not. Okay, I got the guide plates and studs, rocker studs out, and yes, we finally have found helicoils. So this is where the helicoils are located that they say is on the box. So basically the only place you have helicoils is right here, which is probably important because that's where you're really going to snug, shit down. So on the intake side, remember when we were looking through the intake port, we could actually see the threads to the bottom of the rocker stud. Well, apparently it looks as though they put some sort of Teflon sealing liquid, or maybe that's grease. I don't know. It feels like it's that Teflon paste. They put it on the intake side, obviously probably to see, make it more of a seal, because on the exhaust side, as you can see here, they didn't put anything because there's no hole going down into a port anywhere. So they probably did that to kind of, minimize the risk of intake leak that would, come from like sucking oil in on the intake side, or in a boosted application, pushing atmospheric, air and fuel up into the crankcase, which would not be good. So I assume, gotta wipe my hands here, I assume that's what's going on here. And again, here's a good shot of that Edelbrock branded guide plate, again for 5/16 push rods. This sucker here is easily, well heck, you know what? We can find out exactly what this sucker is. I'll tell you what it is. So it is 125. So that's 1/8 inch thick is what that is. And I'm curious to know, because I want to know, 3/8 studs here. Yep, 0.375. But here, yeah, see, these are 7/16. So this is, yeah, so that's smart. Because there are a lot of studs out there that are, when they say 3/8, it'll be 3/8 on top and bottom. But these are actually threaded 7/16 into the head. So that's good news for me, because I'm going to upgrade anyway, right? And what I'm going to end up doing then is just going out and buying a 7/16 straight through stud. That will be 7/16 on the bottom and 7/16 on the top. And just replace these, basically. Which, that also tells me then that these guide plates are ready to go for a bigger stud. Because, again, if you put 3/8 there, here, and you have 3/8 bolt holes, then you got to go buy new guide plates when you upgrade to 7/16 studs, as well as thread these out bigger or whatever. Or, again, a lot of times what people do, I was just looking at a Facebook Marketplace ad the other day. There was a guy who had 7/16 studs for a big block Chevy for sale. He wanted $50. I was going to buy them, but then I found out that it was 3/8 down here and 7/16 up here. And I was like, well, I don't have anything that is threaded 3/8, so it's not going to do me any good. But there's all kinds of sizes out there. So you got to be aware of what you're putting in and what you're trying to buy, etc. So at this point, the video's in 30 some minutes. I think we're in there long enough. And again, I think you've pretty much seen everything there is to know about the Edelbrock E-205 cylinder head. Again, there's another one in that box, so it comes as a pair. And once again, I will tell you that you just need to go look at the specs at the Edelbrock website, Summit Racing website, whatever. Summit Racing's really good at it, by the way. They have, for the most part, all their products have a super list of, like, all the specifications of it. Any measurement, any, pounds, weights, inches, whatever, they are really good about that. And of course, obviously, Edelbrock website would be a good, source as well, but you get my point. Go get your specs there if you really want to know precisely everything. But, for a general unboxing review, this video here should have you covered as far as what it's going to look like, what you're going to find in the box, stickers, instruction sheet, 2 heads that are fully assembled, and really pretty much ready to go, with the exception of, again, let's see where, yeah, there's a little nipple right here. Now this I could tolerate, but on the other side, on the intake, when you remember looking at the video, you saw that flashing. That was a thin, pretty good sized aluminum flake, and that will eventually come off. It will, and it'll find its way in the engine. And again, probably being thin and being aluminum like it is, it'll probably be fine. I've literally seen things go through an engine. I'm not kidding you. Spark plug electrodes and whatnot, and they end up getting spit through and it all works. But I'm telling you, why take the risk? Why take the risk? So I'm going to definitely take this thing all apart, clean it up, and we're going to put it together right after we get done getting rid of all these, nubs and flakes and aluminum pieces, etc. So can you run these out of the box? I would say, yeah. Should you? No. You should clean them up. And then, of course, I'm going to upgrade to my 7/16 studs, all that fun stuff. But, I mean, I'm very impressed with the quality and what you're getting here for the money. I don't know why the Victor Juniors, the Victor Juniors, I guess I know why, because they're Victor Juniors. But the Performer heads, the Performer RPM heads, you're going to pay, for those heads, you're going to pay like $1,200 a piece. I paid $1,300 for this whole pair, this whole set. For the Performer RPM, you could pay $1,200, $1,100 a piece. And I can't imagine what those things have that these don't. I don't know. Unless they are lying to us and this is, casted someplace else and like China or something, and then they get it and they assemble it here. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, again, the big reason why I went with this is because it says USA on it. It says it's made, manufactured, designed, and assembled here in the United States. So I don't know. I guess I need to go look at the spec sheet. Maybe it'll tell me there. Maybe they got better valves. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe these are like Edelbrock branded valves or whatever. And the valves in the Victor, or those other heads are like Manly or something expensive. I don't know, but I just can't fathom why it's that much more pricey, considering it's from the same manufacturer. But then you never know what's going on here. But as long as they're telling the truth, I'm happy. These heads they're very nice. They're going to work perfectly for what I'm going to use them for. And again, proudly in the United States. So like, subscribe, rumble on all my stuff. Ask questions. Make comments, whatever. Even tell me to, shut up or whatever. I don't care. Just, do something with your life. I mean, right? Don't just sit there and consume. Be a participant for once in your life, all right? And we'll see you next time on the next one.